searching the web, trying to learn how to do for self, trying to learn how to clean their own credit. But there's so much fluff out there. There's so many people looking to profit, looking to benefit off of their teachings. See, one thing I pride my channel on is over-delivering on value, providing the most value for the people to truly empower, enrich, and educate each and every single one of you guys. So on today's live, I'm going to be breaking down how to clean your own credit, how to get any account removed from student loans to repossessions to evictions to charge-off to collections to inquiries, any one of those removed. So I'm going to give you guys the exact same process that I've used within my credit repair company now over the past 2.5 years to be able to discharge over $1 million in debt. So if you guys want to learn yourself on how to go through with this exact same process, go ahead and like this video. Make sure that you guys are subscribed and share this with 3 people as well too that could also benefit, that have maybe been looking to start up their own credit repair company, because with these exact steps you guys will be able to do so. So without further ado, step number 1 is to pull your reports. Step number 1, you want to pull your reports from annualcreditreport.com, Experian.com, Equifax.com, TransUnion.com. If you guys want the most official credit score, I'd recommend going to Identity IQ. You guys can also message me. I got my number down below for a link that can get you guys started with Identity IQ for only $1 for 7 days. After those 7 days, within those 7 days, you guys can get it canceled. I like to keep it just to monitor my report and my score and see the differences, especially as I'm working on my credit, if I was working on my credit and my client's credit, so that they can be able to see the score go up throughout the 30 days, 60 days, however long it does take to get these accounts removed. So step number 1, once again, pull the report. Step number 2, identify the violations. So what are the violations? If you guys are new to this channel, if you guys are new to consumer law, I want to introduce you guys to Title 15. Title 15 is a title on commerce and trade. Within Title 15, there's over 100 chapters. There's over 100 chapters within Title 15. The chapters that I'm going to specifically give you guys today, I'll give you guys 2 actually. Chapter 94, which is dealing with privacy. See, our credit and the furnishing of our information has tons of violations within the Gramm-Leach-Bailey Act, which is a whole chapter governing the protection of one's privacy as a consumer within the United States federal corporation. See, I want you guys to understand that the United States is a corporation. Title 28 U.S. Code 3002, number 15. It defines the United States very clearly as a federal corporation. I want you all to look that up and back exactly what I'm saying. That's Title 28 U.S.C. 3002, number 15 when you guys scroll down. So it defines it as a federal corporation. So what does that mean? That means that everything within this corporation is commerce. Everything is a business transaction. If it's a business transaction, that means we are consumers within this corporation. So understanding that we're consumers within this corporation, I must understand then that there's laws in place, that the favor is in my hands, that the power is in our hands, that without any consumer, there is no business. So when it comes to these financial institutions and corporations that are doing business within the federal corporation, the United States, such as these financial institutions, they are regulated by government entities such as the CFPB. How many of you guys drop a CFPB in the comment section, whether you guys are here live or watching the replay, if you know about the CFPB? See, many people call Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion the Bureau. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop that right here, right away. That would be like me calling you a completely different name. Your name is not Bob, so why would I call you Bob? Well, Equifax, their name is not a bureau, so why are you guys calling them a bureau? They are consumer reporting agencies under the Fair Credit Reporting Act and pursuant to 15 U.S.C. 1681A, which is the definition section of the FCRA, and it will define a consumer reporting agency as such. Now, if we look into the definition section of a bureau, right, we want to know the true definition of a bureau, we ought to look into 15 U.S.C. 1602, which is the definition section in Truth in Lending, which is where I'm going to take you guys next in terms of the second chapter. So once again, Title 15 is commerce and trade. Within Title 15, there's over 100 subchapters or chapters as a whole. I showed you guys and talked about Chapter 94 being a Privacy Protection Act. Now I want to lead you guys to Chapter 41. within Title 15. Chapter 41, the name of it is Consumer Credit Protection Act. How many of you guys have heard of Consumer Credit Protection Act? I want you to drop in the comment section. I love myself if you have. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Today is a day, not so much that I celebrate as Thanksgiving. This is a day where many indigenous individuals were slaughtered and killed. So this is a day to speak truth. This is a day to, yes, give thanks to, our family and, our friends and the thing. But that should be something that's done every day, honestly. But this is a day to remember the true history of America and what took place here and, uncovering the lies that have been here for hundreds of years. This is a day where many indigenous individuals were slaughtered. This is a day where many indigenous individuals were hung. This is a day where many indigenous people were hunted, right? So let's be real on the true history of today and what it truly means. This isn't a day where we broke bread. This isn't a day where we, were friends and we all gathered around, with the pilgrims, right? This is a day where they slaughtered us. So let's be real and let's talk about it, because the truth is more disturbing than a lie. That's why we're repping the indigenous wear today. But back to topic, man. So this is why I'm speaking truth to you guys today, helping empower at least one individual. If I could at least empower just one of you guys, I've done my job. I've done all that, I've planned to do today in terms of coming here on YouTube. So once again, I wanted you guys to get the true definition of these words. I want you guys to know where to go to look at these titles. You guys can go to cornelllaw.edu to find these. Cornelllaw.edu is where I surf the web for every one of my consumer law codes. There's more than just Title 15. There's, over 30 different titles that you guys could look through. Within those titles, there's multiple chapters. So Chapter 41, once again, is the Consumer Credit Protection Act. And the Consumer Credit Protection Act has 3 subchapters that I want you guys to take note on right now. The first one being, I call these the big 3 subchapters. The first one being Truth in Lending, which is 15 U.S.C. 1601. The next one being the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA, which governs more so, the consumer reporting agencies. Truth in Lending is more so dealing with credit card transactions, auto loan transactions, student loans. I like credit cards, auto loans, and student loans most when it comes to Truth in Lending. Now, the FDCPA, which is dealing with these debt collectors, peace and love, family, peace and love. My guy Sky, the White Tyson, Olette, thank you all for tuning in. Much love. So the last subchapter that I want to cover with you guys is the FDCPA. All right, drop what city you guys are tuning in from as well, too. I'm going to probably be going on another tour this December and January. So drop what city you guys are tuning in from. The FDCPA, though, right, the FDCPA, within the FDCPA, that's governing debt collectors. So I want you guys all to look into the FDCPA and pursuant to 15 U.S.C. 1692. And we got tons of overviews on each one of those big 3 subchapters. Those are the 3 subchapters that you guys will use to get any accounts removed off your guys' reports. If I can stress anything within one of these 3 subchapters, is to master the basics. Know the congressional findings, which is at the beginning of each one of those subchapters, and know the definition section. If you know those 2 parts of those subchapters, you guys will have everything that you need to know. Okay, step number 3. You guys must download ChatGPT, and I want you guys to upgrade to the Pro version. Pay $20 a month. Right? I'm telling you guys to invest into yourself. Most of you guys are going to click out of here because you guys are scared to spend $1 on information and education to invest into yourself. I'm telling you guys to upgrade to ChatGPT, the 4.0 version. Okay, it's $20 a month. I know, it's a lot, right, man? Okay. So what I want you guys, after you guys have got ChatGPT 4.0, I want you guys then next to scan the reports. Once we've gotten them from annualcreditreport.com, I want you to scan the reports with ChatGPT and tell it to look for any derogatory or delinquent information. Sheesh. Y'all job is a lot more simple now. Okay, the violations that we found, I want you to use those violations, and I want you to type them into ChatGPT and explain your situation and how your rights were violated under these subchapters. And I want you to, once again, cite these codes and tell it to draft you up a notice of dispute with all of those codes. Sheesh. For each one of the derogatory counts. And then after you do one for each one of the 3 derogatory counts, tell it to sum it all up and send out one letter for the 3 consumer reporting agencies: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And when you guys are disputing with Experian, I want you guys to use that 475 Anton Boulevard, Costa Mesa address. Sheesh. I think this is going over a lot of you guys' heads. After that, we've created the notice of dispute. We want to do the FTC and CFPB sandwich. All right, we want to do the FTC and CFPB sandwich. How many of you guys remember the FTC and CFPB sandwich? All right, this is a vegan sandwich. All right, this is a vegan sandwich. I'm vegan. I've been plant-based for 4 years. So this is one of my first, methods that I've created and put together where I've seen tons of results. We've disputed over a couple $100,000 just off the FTC and CFPB sandwich. So we're going to create those reports. We got videos on the YouTube showing you guys how to create those reports. So if you don't know how to create the FTC report or a CFPB report, just check out our channel, and we got tons of videos on there. If you guys want more hands-on information, you guys should check out our university, and everything today is 50% off. Right, everything today is 50% off, meaning Black Friday. So next, family, after the FTC and CFPB sandwich, the next steps that we're going to want to take, and after we've drafted the notice of dispute and we've sent that to them, the notice of dispute we're going to send through mail. After those 2 steps, what we're going to do is we're going to wait 15 days for a response. The moment that we get a response, the next steps that we're going to take is we're going to draft up a FDIC complaint. How many of y'all have heard of an FDIC complaint? They also regulate all of these banks and financial institutions. So I want you guys to file that FDIC complaint. If it's just a debt collector, you guys can honestly file a CFPB complaint and draft up a cease and desist letter, which is 15 U.S.C. 1692 CC. And right away, typically about 90% of the time, I'm getting a deletion. If they state that it's accurate or that it's verified, then we'll go ahead and draft up a letter responding to them to request their method of verification. After the FDIC complaint, what I like to do is I like to go look into case law study. So the violations that I found, I'll type into ChatGPT, find me a case where a consumer won against a creditor where they were also violated in pursuant to 15 U.S.C. 1692 CC, 1681 S2, 1681 I. Find me a case law study where a consumer was granted remedy for the damages that incurred under the FCRA. I'll type this into ChatGPT, have it find me different case law studies. Once I have it find me the case law study, I'll have it, break down blank verse blank that case law and use the same and break down the verbiage that they used, that the consumer used to win that court case. There's too much game, man. This $1 billion game right here. Y'all not hearing me though. I'm gonna go ahead and end this live here real soon. We got a lot of people that don't got nothing better to do here tuned into the comments. So, all right, let me rethink. Okay, case law studies. Then I'm gonna have it drop me up a letter with the same verbiage that was used in that case law in a dispute, and I'm going to send that off to the company again. And after that, if they're not in compliance, I'll wait 15 more days, 7 to 15 days. Then I'll draft up a federal complaint / a pre-arbitration letter. If they are still not willing to comply after the pre-arbitration letter, I'm simply going to file arbitration against them. That federal complaint could also be debt validation. But I like to use, really typically once we've used the case law study, we've got them checkmate. We've got them where we want them. Does this work for gas and electric companies that shut your power and gas off and steal both meters? So let me ask you this. Did they get access to your social? Because remember, your social is your credit card. And anytime your credit card is used, you've been entered into a consumer credit transaction. So the Consumer Credit Protection Act, yes, is also applicable in that matter as well too. Yeshua. Let me know if that makes sense, brother or sister. All right, family. So those are really the steps that you need to take. Where to file arbitration, you may ask. You want to go to adr.org and click on the tab, the consumer tab. And then there's documents, about 4 documents that will tell you about the fees. It'll give you the process. It'll give you the form to fill out, everything that you need when it comes to filing arbitration. And it's $250. All right, well, here we go again, talking about something y'all got to invest into, man. Most y'all gonna leave after you hear $250 that you got to spend, to get back in tenfold. We're talking thousands of dollars you guys can get in remedy for such. Columbia Gas of Ohio and Toledo Edison of Ohio, and yes, they had access to my social for 25 years. So yes, they too are applicable, and they too are a debt collector under the FDCPA. So really, study that FDCPA. They too are a debt collector. Go look up the definition of a debt collector in pursuant to 15 USC 1692A. I'm going to say that one more time. Title 15 USC 1692A. So go check out the definition of a debt collector in the definition section of the FDCPA. So yeah, family, you really just got to get, master those 3 big subchapters, the big 3 subchapters. You got to understand how to file a CFPB report, an FTC report, an FDIC complaint. You got to understand case law studies, different cases that are in accordance to your client's situation, your situation. Know the violations. How you know the violations is you understand and you've read through those big 3 subchapters that I covered with you guys. Apply that FTC and CFPB sandwich. Draft up a pre-arbitration letter. List out the fees and the fines that will come with that you taking them to arbitration. Once we start talking about the money that's going to be, that these companies are going to be having to pay out, they start to move a lot more properly. So let's go, family. That's all that I got for y'all today. Happy Indigenous Day. Remember the truth of today, the true history of today. This isn't so much a day to, celebrate, a holiday. The only aspect I like of it is where you're able to gather with your family. It's the only aspect I like of it. The true history of it is ugly, is bloody. Right? The truth is way more disturbing than a lie. If you haven't heard it before, I'm gonna make sure of it that you hear it here this year and every year going forward. Thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands throughout the years, hundreds of thousands of indigenous beings on this land, on the same land that you yourself are in. In Ohio, I see somebody in Ohio. Tons of indigenous tribes were throughout there. Every sentient being for the past couple thousand years that's walked this land was an indigenous being where their bloodline was affected over the past couple hundred years from the settlers and the colonizers that came here and backstabbed the indigenous beings that were here. So if you're indigenous, if you got it in your bloodline, stand proud, and be proud of who you are because you are still one of the remaining. All right, family. One love. Peace and love. We out of here.